Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and this is a 5-minute review of The Cold Light of Day from 2012. The film is directed by Mawle El-Metri, a French writer and director who's previously worked on films such as JCVD, which is the film starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, kind of pastiche of him as a character. The cast in this film looks pretty spectacular. On the top line, you've got Bruce Willis and Sigourney Weaver. You've then got Henry Cavill, who was just coming into his own. And if you look at his catalogue in 2012, this is only a year or so before he does Man of Steel, and he's just come off a very successful TV run on The Tudors. So he's very popular, he's doing really, really well. And on paper, this film sounds amazing, and it must have been really exciting for him to sign up, and I can see why he did it. You've got Sigourney Weaver, you've got Bruce Willis, as I said, playing his father. Henry Cavill is in the lead role. It's an action film. He's going to be going to exotic locations. So what's not to like? It looks really good, and in theory, it sounds really interesting. Henry Cavill plays Will, a young businessman who's trying to do his best in the world and make a name for himself, whilst he's falling out with his family, and he reluctantly attends a family gathering on his dad's boat where there's his mum, his dad, his brother and his brother's girlfriend. The problem is that he doesn't get on with his dad, and we learn this is because he travelled around a lot during his youth, so he didn't really have time to form friendships, and it's all because of his dad's job. So he kind of blames him for that, and it's done fairly well and really quickly, and it doesn't dig into it too deeply or labour the point. After a falling out, Cavill dives off the boat and swims to shore. He's going to spend some time, and when he gets back he'll try and make it up to his family, or some time away he'll just clear the air a bit. When he spent some time in town, he comes back to the shore and the boat is nowhere to be found. He eventually finds it further along the coast, and when he swims out to the boat he finds that it's empty and abandoned. There's no sign of his family anywhere. He reports it to the police, and thereafter chaos ensues. Someone tries to abduct him and he ends up running from the police and this other group of people. The film then becomes something like The Fugitive, where he's got the police who might be corrupt and might not be. You've got this dodgy group of people that are chasing him, but we don't really know why. We then begin to find out some secrets, that the reason that his father travelled around had nothing to do with the job that he said, and he actually worked for the intelligence agencies. And all of this is really good so far. Then, unfortunately, Bruce Willis shows that he's obviously only signed on for a few days to work on this film, because his character dies, leaving Will on his own to try and retrieve this mysterious briefcase. So, he's a character that has no skills, a running clock, and the kidnappers are after him and have said if he doesn't retrieve it, they'll kill his family. And this is where the film begins to fall apart. Sigourney Weaver's character claims to be a friend and an ally of his father, but clearly she's dodgy. She's been doing deals of her own. And then what begins is basically a run across the city. You've got Will being chased by other people. He comes into contact with a young woman called Lucia, and the two of them then team up to try and work out what's going on, who's pursuing them and why. So on paper it all sounds great, but unfortunately it's not very good at all. The script is quite weak, it leaps about for no reason, it doesn't really make sense. I'm not really sure who some of the characters are, what they want or why they're there. I can't tell you what half of them are called because they never actually use their names, or if they do, it's only once or twice. And Bruce Willis looked like he wasn't actually sleepwalking through his part, however, he wasn't in it for very long. Other than him shouting at Henry Cavill a bit, he doesn't really do much. Sigourney's character has no real layers. She does the best that she can with the material that she's got, but in essence her character is bad, she's up to no good, and that's about it really. It all gets a bit jumbled, and it seems to me that they attempted to cover up the holes in the plot with just more exciting action scenes, more chases, more shooting and that sort of stuff. The action in the film is good. There's lots of good car chases. There's a bit of a parkour coming off a building. There's some daring escapes and gunplay. There's a misdirection at one point, and there's an assassin called Gorman. I didn't actually know his name. I had to look it up afterwards. He's played by the actor Joseph Mawle, who I'd seen most recently on Game of Thrones. He's convincing as a bad guy and does it really well. So there was a lot of potential with this film. It had a lot of really good elements, but it never really gets above the point of just being interesting, moving wallpaper. There's no heart to the characters, you don't really feel that much about them, and you're not really attached to them, so you don't really care too much about their fate. I can see why Cavill took it, it looks great. and it led on to better things, so it was a good step for him. But generally, the film is quite forgettable and it's pretty mediocre. It's only worth having on in the background if you're not that bothered about the story and paying attention to the film, and it's something you just want to have on, really. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5, and I think that's me being really generous and say that it's not really that good. So have you seen The Cold Light of Day? If so, get in touch with us and let us know. You can contact us via email, Twitter, come onto the Facebook group. You can leave us a comment below. Don't forget we have new episodes out every week. So like and subscribe to the channel and get in touch with us in some way. And thanks for listening.